Hello and welcome to the Intuitive Messenger channel. I'm often called Mitchell, and this is your energy forecast, spiritual teaching, and sometimes intuitive development for today, Tuesday, December the 2nd, 2014, not 2012, as well as Wednesday, December the 3rd, 2014. So I guess yesterday I said 2012. Oh well, Spirit knew what they were doing. Somebody add up the numbers on that and see what that comes down to. So it's probably more information, especially for those who noticed it. So today's energy, I'm going to dive into, I really love this. Someone private messaged me and we've had just a little bit of conversation back and forth. But I wanted to use this, by the way, thank you for retweeting, posting, subscribing, becoming a fan, and supporting me on patreon.com. Thank you. So I really wanted to, and I'm not going to read this verbatim, I keep things like this, private, personal messages, without names and things like that. But somebody emailed me. And, I want to just say a few key things because I think there are so many of you going through the same thing that this person is going through. And I love the fact that this person is several thousands of miles away from me. And here we are on the internet being able to reach out. I think back to what it was like when I was a kid in a small town and how it would be nice to have had the internet and things like this to reach out to like-minded people. But more than anything, this message is going to be healing for this person, provide guidance. I'm setting the intention that is for healing and guidance and confirmation, grounding, balance, peace, harmony, alignment, abundance, joy, and that they would rise to the vibration, the highest vibration that they can today. And this is for you too. If you're struggling, if you have any of these things I'm about to mention, but this person says, they say, I think I'm lost. Whew. I'm sure we've all felt that. This person speaks of their seasonal depression. And the first thing I want to say about that is, and I fully understand that, and you've seen me deal with, quote, health stuff for the last week. I don't name it, I don't claim it, I don't identify myself with it. I've got red eyes, I've got a clogged ear. I avoid saying things like, I have pink eye, I've got pink eye, it's going to take me a week to get over this. I avoid those statements. I just acknowledge what the truth is. Claiming that as part of your truth can be a tough one because then it may build and become more and more, especially when it's a diagnosis from somebody else. What do you feel? What do you feel? And one of the biggest things that this person said was, I don't like the person I've become. And that's a tough one because, I remember back to, being deep in church or even as a child, when I was as a child, I was, just depressed and didn't enjoy life very much and used humor to get my way through it. Once I got in the church, I was more cognizant of, okay, I'm trying to grow, understand, and learn, but there were still points where I didn't like myself. And I remember coming to this conclusion pretty much on my own before I studied this. And that was anytime we continue to inflict shame or guilt upon ourselves, it does us no good. If you slip up and do something that's against your religion, and then you beat yourself over the back, to pay the penance, that does nothing, And it was a tough place to be because it almost like gave you the license to, quote, sin, or go, what's wrong? I'm using quotes because I don't believe that there is right and wrong. I believe there's higher vibration choices and lower vibration choices. And the higher ones are going to continue moving you closer back to source and closer to your true self. Lower vibration choices are learning experiences, growing, and they just keep you kind of like stuck or trapped or not moving forward but moving backwards, so to speak. So then this person also said they're trying to meditate daily. And I tell you, when your mind won't sit still, it is a difficult thing, but also just sitting there focusing on your breath. When I sit here I'm at 12 minutes now, my mind is not turned off. I think it's one of those misnomers or false truths that you have to be a completely still mind, not thinking about anything. And I think there's a place where you can get to that. And I have moments and glimpses of that. But here's the thing. 5 minutes of sitting with intention to meditate, even though your mind may be racing, is better than not sitting there at all. So cut yourself to slack there. Don't try to be perfect. Let me tell you what, as a psychic and a medium, when I watch, Long Island Medium, Kim Russo, John Edward, Lisa Williams, James Van Praagh, when I watch any of my people that I've studied on TV, I used to say, oh my God, I'll never be as good as them. First of all, they're good, but you're seeing the edited version. So you're seeing the best of, and it makes those trying to claim to get there not feel like they can get to that point because you're seeing the best of. Same as like a singer, I mean, if you get to hear a singer live, just sitting right next to you, they're probably not going to be as good as they are when they're on a radio, canned music that's been enhanced by video, et cetera, et cetera. So my point is, cut yourself some slack. Cut yourself some slack. Nobody's perfect. It's all relative to who we are on this journey. And this person spoke of panic attack and seeing the doctor. And I highly, because they were encouraged to go back on medication, and I highly encouraged this person to seek medical help and continue to. It's not my job to say yay or nay. I can tell you what Spirit is telling me, but again, I'm always going to refer back to, medical doctors and work because I'm not credited there. But this person said, I don't know how to get back to myself. Feel disconnected and dead inside. Loss of appetite. What can I do to rescue me were some of the questions. And the reason I want to bring this up is because I know so many of you feel like this, and I've set the intention for you and for this person, and I'm going to private message them and say this video is for them. But, one of the messages I did send back was, you're in a burning, raging fire right now, and all I have to offer you is a tiny cup of water. And that cup of water is not going to put the fire out, but it's going to quench your thirst for a moment. And for all of us, once you get out of those raging fires, to keep from getting back in, look for the spark that ignites and starts to burn. And a cup of water will put a spark out. It will even put out a little bonfire sometimes. But once it gets to a raging fire, a cup of water that other people can offer is not even going to put it out. So you can't let it get to raging. You've got to nip it in the bud early on. And also one other thing this person mentioned, doing things they might have felt ashamed of. And I used the word sin earlier because that's the best way a lot of people understand. And sometimes that is your medication just to keep you alive, to keep you breathing. Again, don't beat yourself up. Don't shame or guilt yourself for if all of a sudden you go back to drinking just to numb the pain. Sometimes that is your lifesaver to keep you alive. Food addiction, sex addiction, whatever it might be. Those are often your lifesavers. They're not helping you, like in the long run, but immediately they might give you that cup of water. They might give you that breath where you can and see clearly for just a moment, or numb the pain for just a moment. I'm not encouraging that, but don't beat yourself up when you do fall into that. So I encourage everyone watching this video to send this person high vibration, love and light, and all the affirmations I said before: healing, guidance, confirmation, grounding, balance, peace, harmony, alignment, joy, and abundance. And let's see a miracle happen around this globe. I've got cold chills. So the person who I'm speaking of, accept this. Anybody else who resonates with, accept the healing that I'm getting at least 160 people right now viewing these videos, if not more. So that's 160 people sending beautiful energy to you. All right, let me dive into the energy of the day. So today is number 2. That is the High Priestess. She is wise, knowing. She is very intuitive. The energy of today is all the numbers add up to number 12. That is Hangman. That is the energy of the month. So today is a 12-day and a 12-month. And that is a powerful number because it's about changing who you are. It's about being in that quiet hermit state, or that hangman, or that cocoon place, and coming out the other side with your DNA completely changed. And 12 boils down to 3: Mother Earth, Gaia, births, beginnings, starts. So what a beautiful energy to start today with. I pulled the Heart and the Knight of Wands yesterday, and I kept saying children, children, children. Many of you echoed you were working with or helping children yesterday. I loved it. Heart is about lovers and relationship. Knight of Wands can be about a younger male, very imaginative, creative, and sexual kind of a person. Another Lenormand for today, because the energy is always moving and changing. The 8, or Coffin card. This is about endings. This is about death. This is about, bringing things to a completion, cutting off points. And the tarot to go along with it is going to be the Emperor. This could be literally about a patriarch, the father of a family, the matriarch or patriarch of a family, passing away, taking their last breath, saying goodbye. or the ending of a job for that emperor, for that leader of the family. But it definitely isn't an ending point. Could be the ending of the cocoon time, moving into this emperor energy, which feels very beautiful as well. Shifting into tomorrow's energy, which is 3, which is Empress, which is what yesterday, or actually today, was as well. And then all the numbers add up to 13, which is the Death card, which we just have the Coffin card here. So there's definitely some goodbyes. I've said it before, holidays are a time when a lot of people and animals start checking out. So, take those breaths, hug the ones you love. Know that they are probably going to be making some transitions before the end of the year. It's not a bad thing. It's glorious. Returning home. How beautiful is that? The Lenormand to go along with the energy. Also, the the energy of all the numbers added up today. 13, the Death card, is 4. 4 is what? The Emperor. You can't make it up, people. So we're getting echoed. Yesterday and today are echoed in the cards. And Lenormand to go along with that. 27, which is the letter, which is about information, communication, written word, text, email, all that good stuff. And the Terror to go along with that is the World card. This is about ending. This is about closing off chapters. This is coming to the end. So you may receive that letter today, stating that it is over, it is done, it is ended. Your book is published, the chapter is finished. So definitely today and tomorrow, there's a lot of endings going on, a lot of completions, a lot of deaths, a lot of closing of chapters, closing of books, moving on to new places. So especially in the written word, especially in that Emperor, well-balanced, masculine, male, and female energy. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Check out intuitivemessenger.org. Full spread is up and available all this month. I'll have those delivered back to you as soon as I can, but definitely by the end of the year as I balance out my month too. So no Cosmic Caffeine this Sunday night. The next one will be on the 14th. We're going to go every other Sunday night. So I say to you, namaste. Have an amazing day. Bye-bye.